Welcome. I'm Rob Gamel. I'm here to share insights that will boost your business. More specifically, why thinking different always wins and endures all challenges that we naturally encounter in business, right? And we do have these challenges. I certainly do. So I'm so glad you can join me today. A little background on me. So I spent 8 years at Apple a couple decades ago. Initially, I was hired as an industrial designer, and then I shifted into marketing and became a creative director. When I joined, Apple had a big problem. It had been successful, already gone public, but it had attracted lots of imitators. It had created this iconic identity and product line, but people were knocking it off left and right, and it was easy to imitate. The solution was to think different and come up with a look and feel that would be more difficult to knock off. So after I shifted into marketing, we were able to take that look and feel that we applied to the industrial design, as you saw in the example of one of the computers I worked on, and translate that into marketing. Here you see an example of a corporate identity poster that I led when I was there. Yes, that's me right under the yellow arrow. So during this time, I was privileged to work and travel with Steve Jobs. Boy, did I learn a lot. But over the time I was there, I learned not only how Apple develops products and services, but also how it markets them. And I was fortunate enough to be there when they were still figuring that out themselves and laying the groundwork for what has become one of the most successful companies in history. After I left Apple, I co-founded a catalog and retail business. The initial idea was I was going to apply the Apple thinking that I'd learned so well to retail and the catalog business. And we were going to sell home furnishings, and we're going to have a competitive edge because of that. Well, we won the Best New Catalog of the Year award, but that didn't translate into sales. You see, I'd made a huge error. I hadn't thought differently about who our customers were and who we were. I was no longer an industrial designer or creative director. I was now the operator of a retail business, and I was to be focused on customer service and curation. Our audience, they weren't computer shoppers and users. No, these were folks who wanted to improve their apartment or their home or their office space. I hadn't factored in those important, critical issues. So this is a common problem for lots of small businesses and mid-sized ones across the US. So many people started their businesses because they had technical proficiency at something they were really good at, but that doesn't mean they were good at marketing it. It's a huge problem. As you can see here from the results from a study that was conducted a number of years ago, the majority of businesses across the US do a good job at servicing their customers and delivering customer satisfaction and doing many of the other essential things a business needs to do. But where do they suffer the most? And where do they do the worst job? Marketing and innovation. They just don't do much different thinking, do they? This represents enormous number of missed opportunities, wasted time, wasted money, wasted resources. What a shame. But there's another hidden problem, and this one's even bigger, and it's one of the reasons that they haven't done a better job marketing themselves. It's due to long tail economics. So in many categories, there are a gazillion businesses, right? If you're in the winery business, there are approaching 10,000 wineries across the US. If you're an architect, there are over 200,000 of you out there practicing that. There are hundreds of thousands of dentists and on and on and on, all competing against each other. Here's the problem. They have not differentiated themselves, and there are a gazillion of them who are making some money, but they're not making enough profit to be able to grow the business and maintain a really healthy long-term business. There are a few businesses, however, I call them the contenders, who figured a few things out. They have a competitive advantage over the rest of the folks at the end of the long tail, and they're making money. They're making enough money that they can fuel growth. But the cream of the crop, the leaders in every category, whether it's national, state, regional, local, your small town or neighborhood, there's always a dominant player in any category. They've figured out something and capitalized on it that nobody else does. They figured out how to uniquely differentiate themselves. And as a result, they reap the majority of the profits that are available in the marketplace. So this phenomenon is true at any scale, and it's something that drives what we want to talk about today. The real hidden problem, this lack of differentiation. But it's important to keep in mind that being different isn't enough, although that's essential. You need to be the right kind of different, the kind that makes you remarkable. This is what the top business leaders know. So, as I mentioned, not being different is the key issue here. So the other result is that we get this sea of sameness. So this is what you're seeing on the screen is a screen grab of a vendor that does websites just for dental practices, proudly promoting all of these different websites they've designed. Now, here's the thing. They all look professional. They look good, right? The people in them look good, handsome, attractive, friendly. You know, any one of these might be a really good dental practice to go to. The problem I had when I was looking for a dentist recently, and that many of you might have, is how do you know which is the right one for you? This cookie cutter approach that's promoted by lots of low budget marketing services and website services does a great job of getting you to a level of parity with all of the other long tail businesses out there. But it doesn't effectively accentuate what's unique about you. It doesn't effectively help you stand out amongst all the others, and it doesn't effectively help your target customers, patients, or clients understand who's the right fit for them. So it's a big missed opportunity. And the result, of course, is that what's unique and special about you is being masked by all of this sameness. So the solution, well, let's revisit Apple. So Apple, of course, had been in business for a long time, chugging away, selling their computers and computer-related products and software through retailers, other people's retailers. Some of these were chain stores, some of them were mom and pop stores, but there were an awful lot of them. Apple was being successful by creating great products and bundling them with software that were uniquely simple and easier to use. But they still didn't have control of the system and the channel that they wanted to have control of. So they decided in 2000 to create their own chain of retail stores so that they could own the whole experience that went around it. It took different thinking to do this. They had no expertise. They simply decided there's a better way to do this, and we're going to apply some different thinking to it. The result, of course, is a simple solution, the Apple stores. What made them so remarkable was the simplicity of the thinking that was applied to them. That was the difference that drove the success of Apple stores. So we want to use that lesson and apply it to some basic principles and methods that you can use in your businesses.